What is going on, everyone? It is, what did I even say there? What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Calb, and we are back at it again with another build. However, I actually don't have this build yet, which is why I want to make this video, because if you do, I think you should try it out. Now, what is this build? What am I missing for it? I happen to be missing a specific shotgun called Sudden Death. Sudden Death is from Prophecy, and it drops from the second encounter, the encounter where you're inside the box and you have to rotate the rooms. It's a pretty easy encounter to farm, however, it's probably the longest encounter of them all. Now, why does this specific shotgun matter? It comes with a pretty unique role, holster brace and trench barrel. Now, you might be thinking, what's so good about this specific combo? Well, in most cases, it's actually not a sought-after combo. You could make the argument that Void is good for grenade focused builds, so it would be easy to get volatile rounds with a repulsor brace shotgun, and then you would have free overshield. But then the melee part doesn't really fit in, and that's where we introduce you to the grapple strand grenade. Now, if you don't know, this counts both as a melee ability and a grenade ability when you do your grapple melee, which is really powerful if you think about it. With that being said, if you use Faceted Bravery, you will get both volatile rounds and unraveling rounds at the same exact time, which is really powerful if you think about it. And on top of that, you will trigger Faceted Mending. And on top of that as well, you get Faceted Dawn, which gives you more damage. So if you do a grapple melee with your shotgun out, you'll get a ton of shotgun damage while also having volatile rounds, radiant, and on top of that, you're most likely going to be surrounded, so you would have protection as well. And on top of that, you get Facet of Hope to activate because you have Facet of Dawn active, which is a elemental buff. And if you get a kill, you get Overshield, which also is a buff. And on top of that, since we're using a grapple grenade, we activate this, which you gain Woven Mail when you use your grenade. Just using your grenade does so much for you. And that's just step one of this build. So on screen right now, I'm going to show you a chart earlier in the video, and this time not messed up, so you don't need to join my Discord. I apologize for that in the last video. If you guys don't know, Slice. Casting your class ability allows your weapons to sever targets on hit for an improved duration up to a maximum number of targets. Now, this is pretty strong. And on top of that, we have Desperado. Reloading after a precision final blow increases the rate of fire for an improved duration. Now, why does Desperado matter in this situation? Well, if I get a headshot kill and then I dodge reload, it procs Desperado while also proccing Slice. So, with that being said, we're using dodge reload. On top of that, also using Winter Shroud. Now, Winter Shroud might not mean much to anyone. It just, oh, you're just dodging, you slow down targets, and if you slow down targets, you get more class ability regen. Who cares? Well, Winter Shroud actually has a unique ability to, one, stun champions, while also having the ability to gain 50% DR upon dodging, and this lasts 4 seconds. Now, if you can get your dodge low enough to where you can do it multiple times, i.e. using a class item that gives you Inmost Lights, this can be pretty often that you have this 50% DR, especially if you're near a lot of targets. And if you're near a lot of targets, you have protection, which gives you even more DR. Now, before I keep diving into this, I think we need to back up a little bit. So we're using Relentless, but we're also using this perk called Synergy. Now, the reason why we're using Synergy is because this can allow you to make 2 tangles at once, which isn't quite useful in most cases. But let's say there's an artifact mod in the future that allows you to do extra damage with your tangles. This gives you a bit more freedom to just throw your tangle away without needing your other one for, as you may have guessed and saw earlier, your grapple melee. Howdy y'all, this is some post-recording commentary. There was a few comments in my original video, the Titan shotgun build, where people were asking, could I do this in harder content? And of course, I would like to actually show you guys a showcase of some of these builds in harder content and kind of explain what's going on. If you guys haven't noticed, I almost died there for a second, but you saw my health just come up really fast. The reason that is because your gunpowder gamble also counts as grenade. I don't mention this earlier, which I'm kind of glad I'm doing this post commentary. And what I'm trying to show you guys right here isn't the most optimal way to play this. I'm just trying to show you guys how much healing you can get and how, I guess, sloppy you can play. So I'm not really using my shotgun too much here, which is kind of the whole purpose of the build. Is I have my shotgun so I can get void overshield, but I don't have that shotgun yet, so I can't do that. So if you wonder why I'm just using my primary most of the time, or like I'm not using my heavy enough, that is the reason why. What I really like about this build is that it can really allow you to play hyper aggressive in a place where you shouldn't be too aggressive. So I'm in a Master Watch sector. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. And this Master Watch sector just happens to be exactly 20 levels above me. So it's a perfect testing ground that isn't too like out of control. And one thing that I do like about this Watch sector in particular is that these unstoppables do hit you like a truck, and you can see my health coming right back up and just me straight up ignoring their damage, which is, I think, a really good sign of a build. If you're getting hit by high bursts of damage, how can you recover when you have a low recovery build, but you have high sustain on it? I haven't really talked about the other half of this build that much. It's when you're in Transcendence and just general gameplay with Heart of Inmost Light. Heart of Inmost Light heavily carries this build, and I don't think I give it too much credit. So it allows you just to spam your grenades more often, which allows you to have a more constant woven mail. And on top of that, the artifact gives us Devour. I haven't really mentioned that either, so I figured that right now would be a good time to speak upon it. Now, the reason why I'm using Tether is so I can help getting a Devour pretty fast. If I see a group of enemies, I can just weaken them and get my Devour. My Smoke Bomb can do the same, however, the Tether is just a better Smoke Bomb in this scenario, I guess. And you guys see that I'm using my abilities as much as possible. Sometimes I just use them straight up off cooldown, so I can just have my other abilities ready, because my dodge and my grenade are extremely important. Or my dodge and my melee are extremely important. My bad. But my grenade can be... Oh, I'm not speaking properly. Apologies. My grenade and dodge are the most important parts of this build. And my melee is also good, but it's not as important as the other two. But being able to make sure I can spam that as well, so I can apply weaken or just disorient a target temporarily, is good in just general gameplay. It's kind of funny how much of a deathless run that has been so far, even though there's been so many close moments because of how I've been playing in this gameplay. And the first time that I die is to the environment. I think it's a pretty good sign of how this build is coming together and the potential that it has once I get the ideal shotgun that I'm searching for. There's a bit of filler time right here, so I'm just going to ask the question I've been thinking about a lot. What would you guys like to see next from me? I want to make a Warlock build. I think it'd be fun to try to now make a Warlock Trench Barrel build with a Void Overshield. I've kind of gotten this theme of just using Void Overshields with shotguns, and I feel like Warlock should be up next. But I don't even know if that's what you guys are really looking for me. So what would you guys like to see? Please let me know down in the comments. Alright, I really like this room in particular because it just shows how much you can spam your abilities and just shut down an enemy completely. You could probably do this to an anti-barrier if you have anti-barrier on, but if you're facing an unstoppable or an overload, they are typically useless. Like in a scenario like this, you're just constantly applying stuns to them. If there's any enemies nearby, they're actually making you stronger in this scenario, which is funny. And I just think it's a bit silly, the things you can take advantage of. And right here, I want to show how fast you can build your Transcendence energy. So you will just see me spamming my abilities on this guy. Not trying to kill him like too fast, but I am like trying to keep him relatively low. I still do end up dying because I'm just trying to show like how much energy you can build up. Like just Gjallarhorn applies so much for your Transcendence bar. That's why like you see me shooting it over and over. I was trying to fill up my light bar because it is super easy to charge to your darkness bar whenever you do a grapple melee, because Unravel is another case of just having a lot of darkness energy. And then when I apply slow, grapple melee, Unravel, it just builds up so much faster. And you're just going to see me do the same thing where I'm stun locking this guy. And you can also see me take advantage of when you slow down a target, you get your class ability a bit faster. It is just, it all comes together really nice, which is what I really like about this build. And another environmental death. We love to see it. But you guys get the general gist of this build. I'm going to let the rest of this Lost Sector play out. And once the full build comes together, I'll probably make a part 2 to this video, a much more cleaner. This was honestly supposed to be way shorter, but I ended up making it a little bit longer than I wanted to, because I felt like if I give you guys the full picture early, maybe someone who does have the build can start using it and tell me in the comment if they like how it plays. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great one. Peace out.